Hey friends, how are you all? Hope you are all safe at your homes and taking good care of your health. Yes, dear friends, health is of utmost importance, but equally important is learning. So let's keep the spirit of learning. Let's get started. I am Trupti Mohanty, your friend for today, and I am here with you to learn with you, share with you, and have a lot of fun with you. Today I am going to share with you some fun facts and some interesting uses of a different kind of words which are called verbals. So what are they? Verbals are those words which don't work as verbs but as different parts of speech in a sentence, right? Verbals are those words which don't work as verbs but as other parts of speech in a sentence. Now, what do we all know about verbs? What do we all know about verbs? Are they just action words? No, verbs have got a lot of work to do in a sentence, a variety of works to do in a sentence. So, we keep under this acronym D-A-S-H. These are the words, these are the things that verbs do. Verbs sometimes denote actions: run, play, sing, write. Verbs are doing words. I do, we did, they did. Verbs also show a state of being, like I'm good, we are good. Verbs also denote possession. I have, you have, she has. So these are the different things that verbs do, which come under D-A-S-H. Doing words, action words, state of being, and have words. Right? All the verbs that we know come under two categories. Some are finite, some are non-finite. So what are finite verbs? Finite verbs are the group of verbs which denote subject, and yes, they also denote tense in a sentence. Look at this sentence. Vineet went to Mumbai. Who is the subject in this sentence? As we all know, subject is the doer in the action. Who is the subject? Vineet is the subject. And what is the verb in this? Went. Now, as you can see, that went, which is the verb in this sentence, comes from the past tense of the verb go. So went denotes that the action that Vineet is doing is in the past tense. So clearly we can see that this verb went denotes subject, and yes, of course, the tense as well. But there are other kinds of verbs, children. These verbs are non-finite verbs. That means they do not denote subject, neither they do show any tense. Look at these sentences. Reading makes you a better person. Which is the verb in this sentence? Which is the verb? The verb is makes. But what about this word reading? Seems like a verb. But is it a verb? Not really. Look at the second sentence. He loves to read. Which is the verb in this sentence? Always remember, children, verbs are always associated with the action about the subject. He loves. He loves. Loves is the verb. But what about to read? Clearly, it isn't a verb, right? See the third sentence. I saw a dancing doll. Verb is saw. But what about dancing? All these words that are highlighted, reading, to read, and dancing, clearly are not doing the work of verbs. So what do they do? Let's get to know more about them. Right? The first category of the words are gerunds. Sometimes these verbs act as nouns in a sentence. Let's see how. Swimming is a great exercise. Swimming is a great exercise. What is a great exercise? Swimming. Now, while choosing gerunds, always ask the question, what? Take the verb, add an ing, see whether it acts as a noun in a sentence. So, Swimming is a great exercise. Here swimming acts as a noun and not as an action. Coming next are the interesting pair of words, infinitives. Now these are also coming from the verbs. Infinitive is a verb that functions sometimes as a noun, sometimes as an adjective, or sometimes as an adverb in a sentence. They don't do the work of verbs in a sentence. They have other things to do. Sometimes they express opinion, sometimes they express purpose, or sometimes they receive an action. So, infinitives are a group of words which are derived from verbs but don't work as verbs. And always remember, children, infinitives usually begin with the word to and is followed by the base form of the verb. To plus a base form of the verb is an infinitive. I love to read. What is the action or which is the verb here? Love. And what do I love? To read. Clearly, to read is at the receiving end of the action from the subject. So it acts as an object. That means it's a noun. So infinitives sometimes work as an adjective, sometimes work as a noun, right? So always remember, infinitives start with to and take the base form of the verb. To play, to sing, to cry, and to go. Okay. Joel wants a book to read. Joel wants. Wants is the verb. Book for what? To read. Which is the object? Book. And for what purpose does he need the book? Read. To read. Here, to read tells us more about the purpose for which the book is taken. So clearly this is an adjective. So as we all know, children, infinitives always begin with to and take the base form of the verb. Right? The last form of the verbs, non-finite verbs, are participles. What are they? Participle is a word that's also derived from a verb and which takes the nature of sometimes a verb and an adjective. Right? Sometimes a verb, sometimes an adjective. For instance, the hosts took special care of the invited guests. Hosts took. That means took is the verb here. Special care of the invited guests. So guests is a noun and invited. The word invited tells us more about the noun guests. So invited here acts as an adjective. So clearly it isn't doing the work of a verb. Here it is an adjective. But where does it come from? From the word invite. Invite, the past form of the word, past participle form is invited. So invited here is past participle. So going for the next sentence. I saw a dancing doll. So which is the verb in this sentence? Saw. Of course, saw. So who is receiving the action? Doll. And what kind of doll did I see? Dancing. So dancing is an adjective. So clearly, dancing is the present participle form of the verb dance. Dancing is a present participle. So as you can see, participle is a word that is formed from a verb, sometimes works as a noun, sometimes works as an adjective. Right? So let's see where do we stand. Let's see where do we stand. First question here, you can see here, the instructions, children. Remember, children, you have to follow the instructions before attempting any question. So here's a question for you. Identify whether the following underlined verbs are infinitives, gerunds, or participles. Mother tried to calm down her crying baby. So what is crying here? Clearly, it is telling more about the word baby. So, baby is an object and crying tells more about baby. So, crying here is present participle. Isn't it? Next sentence. Painting is my hobby. Painting is my hobby. So what is my hobby? Painting. Painting, as we remember, verb plus ing, which is acting as a noun. So verb plus ing acting as a noun. What is it? Gerunds, of course. He loved to paint. He loved what? He loved to paint. To paint is the object. That means it's working as a noun here. So to paint is an infinitive that works as a noun. Right? He loved to paint. To paint is infinitive. Right? That's all for today, children. Hope you've enjoyed my session. Stay tuned.